Captain Amit Singh, welcoming you to the show. Thank you very much for joining us. He's an aviation expert, also founder of Safety Matters Foundation. Thank you very much. Jitendra Bhargav is a former ED at Air India, joining us on the broadcast. Good evening to you, Jitendra ji. Good to see you on the show. Dr. Saeed Hafiz, a spokesperson of the DMK. The BJP and the TDP, as expected, have decided not to send spokespersons on any shows that have anything to do with IndiGo. And we understand why, which is why JVC Sriram is smiling, because it is his rather tough job to defend the government today. I don't know how he will do that. Nahi, acha, you're saying no. Okay, JVC, we'll see. We'll see. We know where your heart lies. And Dr. Sumit Suselan, ACC member, has no choice but to defend the government and the DGCA because he is a member of the Ministry of Civil Aviation, chairperson of Divine Air. So he has no choice today. I don't know how you will do this. But thank you very much. Jitendra Bhargav, I'm going to come to you first as someone who is a veteran of the civil aviation sector in this country. Baki sari baatein baad mein karenge, but the fact is today the government of India is almost admitting, I won't say 100%, but almost admitting that the chaos looks intentional. Looks intentional kya? It is intentional. All of us can see it is intentional. Do you see it that way?
No, you see what the minister has said, if you look at from the first day, the circumstantial evidence was leading toward what the minister has said today. IndiGo had adequate time. They were told about the revised FDTL. They knew what the enhanced requirement of pilot would be. And when you do not deliberately recruit pilots and leave the airline industry to chaos, what would you come to? You will conclude the way the minister has, number one. Number two, when we look at it, the IndiGo's thing, 19 years of performance in a professional manner, profitable airline, growth, sustained growth, all those kind of things, difficult to believe. But when you look at the facts as they exist, you have no option but to say, did they really go for a harakiri? Did they really create a chaotic situation? But to surmise that if they created a crisis of this kind, they will be able to force DGCA into rolling back FDTL. I wouldn't agree on that. There was no way that the government of India, after the court's intervention, could have withdrawn, relaxed the condition. Of course, they've done it. In the case till 10th February, given the leeway to IndiGo to primarily bring the airline to some stability. But to switch the government of India or DGCA will roll back FDTL, it's an impossibility. So anybody thinking within IndiGo that we will be able to achieve it, they have ruined themselves. Their reputation is all right.
Okay,
and people
but Captain Amit Singh,
taken to task.
Then what has IndiGo achieved? IndiGo has achieved its short-term goal, no?
No, but that short-term is nothing. Let me explain to you. But the price they have paid so far, in terms of their reputation being ruined, will be multiple, many-fold.
Captain Amit Singh, come in here. Do you believe what Jitendra Bhargav is saying, that you're putting too much blame on, on IndiGo's intelligence to orchestrate this? The price they've had to pay is far greater than the 20% pilots that they would have had to hire more.
5-7%, not 20%. It's if you look up the the difference between the pre and the post.
Like I say, this is a kind of a regulatory takeover. So it is not just FTTL. There are more issues which are there, which have not come to fore. So if you look at in totality, there are issues like the new multi-crew pilot license, which IndiGo is pushing for, for which a lot of training will shift from the flying schools to the simulators.
Okay.
Right. So that is one issue which IndiGo was pushing for. And a committee was formed and IndiGo was spearheading that issue. Second was this FTTL. They wanted that extension, exemption, whatever. And since it was a high court order, they knew that they could not push for it too much beyond a certain point. So in September, they represented and the DGCA issued a circular for a new kind of a FTTL system, which is called a fatigue risk management system. But what they did was they issued it through a circular. It has to be a that is a huge process wherein DGCA has to be trained and a lot of work has to be done, data-driven thing. But they wanted a shortcut through a circular, which was opposed by the pilot bodies. And they were heavily dependent that this FRMS will come through by December. DGCA said implementation date is December. That didn't happen at the last minute. But they had pilots. They had pilots, but they did not have ready pilots to fly. They had management pilots. How many leaves have been cancelled, we don't know. Because in any industry, if you do not have sufficient manpower, first you resort to cancelling leaves and taking away other privileges so that manpower is available. What was done here? Nothing. So one, they were kind of stuck. Second, they wanted to show the power because they thought that they had virtually taken over.
But they had virtually taken over, given how things have played out. Given how things have played out,